My sister and I got a second chance at life on the very day our parents split. In our last go-around, our parents divorced. My sister decisively chose our dad, who made $1 million a year, leaving behind our mom, the homemaker. Turns out, our wealthy dad got remarried. The stepmom was harsh, the stepbrother was a jerk, and my sister didn't end up living the lavish life she imagined. She got booted out and was left to wander aimlessly. Mom, on the other hand, stumbled onto a beauty system after the divorce. She shot to fame overnight, becoming the entertainment world's ageless goddess. Because of that, even I got pursued by a movie star, hitting it big. Suddenly, I woke up and saw my sister clinging tightly to Mom's arm. "You had your good run last time. Now it's my turn." She smiled at me, genuinely pleased. But she had no clue. Playing the beauty card alone was a dead end. I opened my eyes to find my dad yelling at my mom. "Lily, you ungrateful wench. I work my butt off to support this family, and you have the nerve to mess around behind my back." Shattered glass fell before me. I didn't even have time to react before someone more quick-witted sprang forward. "Dad, how dare you talk to Mom like that? Mom spends all her time caring for us. If you weren't so busy ignoring the family, she'd never have strayed." My sister, Mia, stood protectively in front of Mom, her usually delicate face flushed with intensity. "Nonsense." Dad was stunned for a moment. He tried to yank Mia up, annoyed, but she smacked his hand away. "No, don't touch me. I want to be with Mom." Dad was dumbfounded. Why had his sweet, obedient daughter suddenly turned into someone speaking such nonsense? Amidst the chaos, I caught the mischievous glint in Mia's eye. That look said it all. Mia and I had both been reborn, rewinding back to the day Mom and Dad split. In our past life, the scene played out just like this. Dad, a company VP making $1 million a year, was always on the road. Mom, who was already beautiful, ended up tangled with Dad's assistant. They'd meet under the pretense of work, but got caught by Dad one day when he came home for some papers. Furious, Dad immediately wanted a divorce. My sister eyed Dad's $1 million salary and hastily chose his side. She always aimed high and was sure Mom wouldn't make much of homemaking without Dad. But nobody saw coming what happened that night. Mom accidentally activated a beauty system where she grew prettier from earning people's affection. With the system's help, Mom turned things around overnight. Offers for TV shows and ads piled up, and within 6 months, she was the entertainment world's well-known ageless goddess. Being her daughter, I too became a sensation online. As for Mia, life with Dad wasn't as dreamy as she'd thought. Not long after the divorce, Dad remarried. His new wife was a tough cookie, mirrored Mia's game, playing tricks back at her, and quietly transferred all her original assets away. Eventually, she got kicked out, and when she was broke and wandering, she saw me dazzling on TV. Holding on to bitterness, Mia decided to crash her car with mine when I was at the peak of my success. I never expected that upon opening my eyes, both of us would wind up back on the day of the family split. This time, with Mia's dramatic performance, Dad gave up custody of her and picked me instead. But Dad still doted on Mia. Unlike last life where Mom left with nothing, this time he left the big house for Mia and Mom. Watching me silently pack, Mia had a satisfied smile. "Big sis, if life gets too tough, come beg me, and I might just help you out." I chuckled. She was still as naive as ever, thinking she'd have it made with Mom this time around. She didn't realize the spotlight life wasn't that simple. Playing the beauty card alone was a dead end. Dad and I moved into a tiny rental near school. They say it's easier to go from poverty to luxury than the other way around. My dad struggled with the transition from our big home to this cramped space. But he knew if he hadn't favored Mia, wanting to spare her hardship, it wouldn't have been us moving out. "Emily, don't worry. Once this project wraps up, Dad will get us a bigger house," he promised awkwardly, noting my fancy clothes and jewelry couldn't fit in the room. Truthfully, it didn't bother me. Last time, once Mom's beauty system made her famous, show and brand deals poured in. Before long, I was in an even grander mansion, filled with countless fancy clothes and jewelry. I didn't have to stress about college entrance exams, since Mom's beauty alone would make a short live stream earn more than a year's payroll. To outsiders, My life seemed like a dream from a novel. But only I knew behind the beauty was relentless pressure and rampant entertainment industry rules. Mom wasn't keen on hard work before, and having the beauty system made her even less inclined to learn new skills. Yet beauty fades. Even with peerless looks, her dreadful acting and off-key singing racked up viewer resentment. Critics called her a pretty face, refusing to pay for her shows. The industry hotshots she once knew, being playboys, never planned to marry her seriously. As backlash mounted, they vanished quicker than you'd believe. Feeling like she had no way out, she decided to give up on herself and transferred the beauty system to me. To keep me under her control, she forced me to drop out of my senior year of high school, setting me up with all sorts of messed up drinking parties. In the end, she secretly snapped photos of me toasting, threatening me, "If you don't behave, I'll throw these pictures online." She tortured me until I was mentally and physically worn out, sinking into depression more than once. It was during that chaotic time that I realized something deeply. Every gift from fate comes with a hidden price tag. For the rest of my life, I don't want those surprise sugar-coated explosions. I want to study hard and keep my destiny in my own hands. I set myself a strict study schedule. With the guilt my dad felt towards me, I didn't have to worry about living expenses this time around. Using the generous allowance he gave me, I signed up for a few one-on-one tutoring sessions. Like a monk, I tirelessly ran between home, school, and tutoring centers every day. This life was exhausting, and initially, every day I came home, my mind was left with only the feeling of being overworked. But I knew, returning to my senior year, I'd fallen behind on more knowledge than others. To earn respect through genuine skill and knowledge, I needed to work even harder. Hard work pays off, and with the guidance of excellent teachers and my own efforts, my rank shot up from the bottom of the leaderboard. Meanwhile, my mom, like in the past life, bound herself to the beauty system. Through a short video of a passerby's candid shot, she became an overnight sensation. When Mia returned to school, she was clearly the star of the crowd. What's the point of reading all those books? You can't make money as fast as I can with a single live stream. Facing the sounds of admiration from classmates, Mia covered her mouth, casually flipping over my test paper full of check marks. The class president behind her chimed in with flattery. Exactly. What does Emily know? Even after all that studying, aren't you just going to end up as a worker too? Our Mia is different. She's going to be a big star in the entertainment industry. I heard even the hottest young actors are after her. Stop it, don't say things like that. With this topic, more shyness appeared on Mia's face, her modest demeanor egging on the classmates around her. The hottest young actors? In the crowd, only my hand paused as it wrote on the desk. If my guess was right, the hot actor Mia mentioned referred to today's entertainment sensation Jake. In my previous life, as the industry's most aloof modern-day monk, Jake was only captivated by me, repeatedly breaking his vows for me. Forums on Twitter about the two of us were always filled to the brim, and just one eye contact would shoot our topic to the top of trending. Perhaps holding hostility towards me, Mia in this life took the initiative just as she gained fame to reach out to him. Unsurprisingly, their frequent appearances in private began circulating online. Sister, doesn't it feel bad seeing your once admirer now charmed by me? Mia, with clear malice in her voice, leaned closer, drawing untidy lines across my neatly done homework. There's a saying, if one can't bear it, what can one bear? Besides, what she was scratching on was 2 hours worth of my hard work in physics. I suddenly grabbed the water cup on the table, yanked her hair, and splashed the water onto her amidst her sharp screams. Emily, how dare you? She was stunned by the water, reacting by lunging at me like a madwoman. But she barely moved for a second before I yanked her back with my suddenly tight grip on her hair. So what if I do? Next time you provoke me again, I'll splash it on your mom too. Under my restraint, her face twisted in pain. The searing pain brought clarity to her mind as she backed off instead of rushing forward again, though her eyes still held a lingering hatred. Just wait, you'll get what's coming to you. Mia's so-called retribution came quickly. By the time I returned home from school that evening, there was an extra woman on our living room sofa. Emily, this is Tracy. My dad awkwardly stood up, introducing her to me with flat, dry words. I looked down at the sofa. The woman there was sophisticated and beautiful. She was the one Mia, in a past life, referred to as the harsh and venomous stepmother who threw her out of the house. I once heard my mom proudly recount to me. When Dad first introduced Tracy to Mia, she cried and made a scene for days, even going on a hunger strike. She smashed everything in the house and pointed at Tracy, cursing her. A second marriage woman with a son. You're not even worthy of a finger of my mom's. How dare you step into our Brown family's home? At that time, as my mom rose to fame, her presence on TV was unmatched. Mia regretted her past choices while also looking down on Tracy's simple dressing, harboring resentment that Dad couldn't achieve the same grandiosity as Mom. But she barely got past half of her rant when a punch landed on her face. Tracy's son Thomas stood coldly at the door, eyes ablaze with unquenchable fire. In the end, Dad still chose to marry Tracy, and the relationship between Mia and the Taylor family turned irreconcilable, thanks to that disastrous first meeting. Now looking at the woman in front of me, who was beaming at me, and the man behind her with a hostile expression, I reached out my hand. Nice to meet you, Tracy. I'm Emily. Thomas froze, his once piercing gaze softened slightly. Even my dad was shocked by how well I was taking it, immediately beaming and shouting praises. Emily is more sensible than your sister. If your sister were here, who knows what kind of scene she'd cause. Sensible? I forced a polite smile. If they had the choice, no child would willingly share their parents' love or inheritance with others. Mia totally gets this. That's why she's always cursing me with glee at school. She thinks I'll end up just like my past life self, clashing with the Taylors and getting kicked out with nothing. Little did she know that Tracy is the project manager at the National Academy of Sciences. She might look simple and modest, but in reality, money isn't something she's lacking. Actually, when it came to marrying my dad, it was more like he was the one marrying up. Mia isn't into the academic world, so she's never seen Tracy's intense energy during her speeches on stage. Even if she knew, she wouldn't care. The only thing she ever focuses on is how someone looks or how fancy they dress. So when she's hoping Tracy will just leave and not take over the family assets, I'm thinking about how I can learn more from Tracy to create my own value through real skills and knowledge. One night, I went to the kitchen to grab some water, and out of nowhere, I was yanked into a corner. In the moonlight, a face with sharp features seemed even more intense. Emily, I don't know what you're up to, but I suggest you back off my mom. I squinted up at him. Thomas, the guy Mia fears the most. He's my age, but since Tracy's always busy working, he's become quite the infamous troublemaker at school. He couldn't care less about being polite or any no-hitting girls rule. In our past life, when Mia first tried to stir things up between Tracy and the family, Thomas just went up and gave her a beating. Since her sweet and coy tactics didn't work on Thomas, Mia dreaded him. Even when she got kicked out, she dragged him down into jail with her. But he's also the one who pulled me out of a bad scene after a party, like a light cutting through the warnings and threats around. In this lifetime, I don't want to be his enemy. Thomas. I looked at his stern face and suddenly smiled. Do you want to be a thug forever? His eyebrows tightened slightly. Even the muscles on his shoulders tensed up. Nobody dared mention anything about him being some gang leader. Everybody knew Tracy, being the renowned scientist, wanted her son to study and eventually follow in her footsteps. But Thomas just wasn't into studying. He's always been straightforward and wasn't fond of all that fancy talk. In the past, Mia took advantage of this and set him up to get reported and locked up. Yet here and now, facing his defensive look, I simply pulled a flyer from my pocket. If you're looking for something more than being a thug, check this place out. The flyer had an ad for a fencing studio. I made up my mind about changing Thomas's fate before Tracy even entered our lives. Being a top dog among troublemakers wasn't just because of his fierce looks. It was his athletic talent. He's got long limbs and fights with speed and aggression. Those just happened to be the core skills needed for fencing. Mia saw Thomas as a wild beast, a tiger that couldn't be tamed. But I live for challenges. And in my eyes, any beast can turn into a docile creature once you know how to tame it. In the moonlit moment, Thomas just stared at me. After what felt like ages, a gruff, almost husky, voice came from above me. Thanks. The list for the school's competition team was finally announced. With the help of great teachers and my own hard work, I managed to make it to the team. When the results came out, my classmates all congratulated me. Emily, good luck in the competition. And don't forget to treat us to dinner once you get in. Haha. You're truly an inspiration for the rest of us. Earning things with real talent, way better than those fleeting fame games. In the midst of all those compliments, Mia was the only one scowling in the corner. Unlike my high spirits, she hadn't been doing well lately. At first, after discovering that Mom's system made her an instant hit, she was soaking up all the attention. But soon, the endless problems that came with being in the spotlight started getting to her. First, there were the work arrangements. My mom didn't have much to offer intellectually. She coasted through life on the coattails of men. And the system just made her obsessed with romancing. Mia ended up handling all her professional stuff. She thought she'd ride that wave and lift her social status, but ended up going from being the pampered princess of the Brown family to running around trying to make up for my mom's shortcomings. Every day, she's chasing after my mom, serving her tea, trying to deal with the endless parade of paparazzi photos. But no matter what, things just didn't improve. A public figure's life gets aired out for the world to see. Besides the suspicious paparazzi shots, Mom's lack of basic smarts was something else. Back then, I'd help her with speeches at public events, solving lots of issues easily. But now, Mia wasn't into books either. At a TV drama promo, the host randomly asked Mom to give a shout-out to students taking exams. Mia searched online for a good message, but didn't recognize a word of it, making everyone crack up. Mom was embarrassed and slapped Mia backstage. If only I had Emily with me instead. We'd never have been humiliated like this. She angrily ranted at Mia. But clearly, she wasn't ready to let go of all the fame. Yet her age was catching up, and her reputation was tarnished. So, she ended up making the same decision as in our past life, passing the system to Mia. Emily, did you always know it'd come to this? After packing up my stuff, it was just me and Mia left in the classroom. I turned around to see her angry face, and honestly, I just found it funny. Haven't you already got the thing you wanted most? I smiled, watching her face getting uglier by the second. I knew exactly why Mia was so frustrated, even after getting the beauty system. It was nothing like she imagined. Mia thought the beauty system would mean just having to fall in love and lazily wait to get prettier. But in reality, the system just boosts your skincare effects. To get beautiful, you still have to use expensive skincare and beauty treatments. Plus, every step of getting prettier came with excruciating pain. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Every gift comes with a price. Mia's face turned pale. If looks could kill, she'd have my head on a plate right now. But then a sly smile appeared on her face. She must have thought of something. Emily, so what if I'm not as successful as you in my career? Without the beauty system, could you get as much love as I do? She stared at me, her eyes filled with some kind of intense excitement. Did you know? Jake is going to propose to me. Honestly, I have no idea why Mia hates me so much. Growing up, as the youngest, she got most of our parents' love. Even when they divorced, they prioritized her. I never thought of competing with her for anything. But maybe it's precisely this laid-back attitude of mine that made her love taking what I cherished. I used to be famous with Jake in the entertainment circle. Now she wants to get engaged to him, just to show me her so-called victory. When I got home, I overheard my dad on the phone. Mia's voice was ecstatic on the other end. Dad, you have no idea how amazing Jake is. He may be just an average actor now, but he'll become the youngest dual award actor in history. I'll even be in the history books with him. I paused as I set down my backpack. No wonder Mia clung to Jake like glue. Aside from wanting to take my stuff, she dreams of making history herself. In both lifetimes, the areas Mia wanted to surpass me in were always career and love. Now that I secured a spot at Harvard, she must have realized there was no beating me in career terms. So she set her sights on winning over powerful men. But she didn't know Jake was bad news. He discovered the secret about the systems on my mom and me. Instead of exposing us, he tried every way to get close to me. I noticed something off about him and avoided him, but my mom learned about his pursuit, and greedy for the Lin family money, got me engaged to him despite my protests. The end was predictable. With my beauty system and his family background, Jake quickly became a hot dual award actor. As for my mom and me, we lost everything and had to start over after our systems got taken away. I'm definitely not a saint, and I have no intention of telling Mia any of this. Besides, I have more important things to worry about. With the competition spot in hand, I'm focusing everything on clinching a Harvard scholarship. My competitors are top-notch students, and I need to go all out. With the school's teachers guiding us, I breezed through rounds, from preliminary to final. I got so immersed in the world of biology that I almost forgot to eat and sleep. But never did I imagine running into Mia at the hotel the night before the finals. She looked more haggard than the last time I saw her. At first glance, I barely recognized her. I was in a rush and didn't want to bother. But then she suddenly called out, "Emily, won't you even look at me?" Instinctively, I glanced over. What I saw was her gloomy face smiling under her hood, and a hand suddenly raising a cup in the air. "Die!" My mind went blank for a second as she hurled a stinky, burning liquid toward my face. My reflexes moved faster than my brain, and soon a bone-chilling pain seared through the hand I used to shield myself. In a public place like this, she dared to throw acid. "Ha ha ha, Emily. Now you'll be just like me." She took off her hood, revealing a slightly worn-out face. During my time drowning in work, a teacher gossiped to me about Mia's plight. After the engagement, she left school against everyone's advice, moved into Jake's place, and played the role of a devoted fiancé. But clearly, even beauty gets boring, and the best things are best kept to oneself. Jake forcibly took Mia's beauty system, and of course, anyone whose system was robbed would face backlash. Now Mia's aging face was the best karma she could get. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Mia staggering towards me, enduring the intense pain in my right hand. Before she could hurl what remained of the acid, I kicked her hard, making her fall face first onto the acid-drenched ground. "Idiot, you think the same trick can fool me twice?" Tugging her hair, I pressed her face into the spilled acid on the floor. Amidst her desperate cries, I calmly dialed 911. "Get ready to rot in jail." Mia was taken to the station, while I was rushed to the hospital. Though the intervention was quick, meaning the damage wouldn't affect my life too much, I definitely wouldn't be sitting that exam the next morning. My parents and Tracy rushed over that night. As soon as they arrived, Mia burst into tears. "Mom, Dad, I didn't mean to hurt Emily. I just lost my head for a moment." Her crying scenes were always top-notch. My mom stayed silent, but my dad seemed a bit softened. "I don't think Emily's injuries are that bad." Maybe he tried to speak, but Thomas quickly shut him down. "Maybe just take it to court, let a judge handle it." After training in fencing for half a year, Thomas had shed his past innocence. Now, his presence was calm, and his words had a chilling sharpness. "Exactly. Did you even consider Emily's feelings?" Tracy, standing nearby, frowned in disagreement. "Emily and Mia are both your daughters. Emily got seriously hurt. You can't just let it slide." My dad was struck silent by her words. Mia was dumbfounded, watching everything unfold. She couldn't believe her past arch-enemy was now speaking up for me. "Thomas, are you being fooled by her? My sister can fake being pitiful. She threw acid at me too. Why don't you punish her?" Thomas let out a cold laugh, then slammed a signed file onto the table. "You grabbed a bottle of acid for revenge. Don't say you didn't attack first. Even if Emily smashed the bottle on your head, it's self-defense." He leaned against the cabinet, arms crossed with a scornful tone. "Know your place." I went back to school to get ready for college entrance exams. I didn't bother hiding Mia's sabotage. In today's fast-paced internet era, news spreads like wildfire. At first, people felt sorry for me. Then curiosity kicked in, and they suggested I start live streaming. They wanted to see who I really was. But faced with all the attention, I turned down every signing offer. To me, losing the automatic college placement meant my only shot at a top school was through exams. For Mia, however, the fame I turned down was something she desperately wanted. After losing her looks and having nothing else to offer, my mom abandoned her. My mom resented her for ruining everything and used her as a last resort to gain internet fame by belittling her. Under the weight of negative public opinion, Mia clung desperately to Jake like a drowning person to a straw. To my surprise, Jake asked to meet up during all this. "Emily, I've been having this dream lately. In a coffee shop, this big star seemed incredibly vulnerable. I dreamed it was you, not Mia, with the beauty system. When you found out about it, you didn't fight it like Mia. Instead, you willingly passed it on to me and managed everything like an agent. With your help, my reputation and skills skyrocketed, and I became the youngest actor to win 2 major awards." He ruffled his hair in frustration. "But now, how can it not be you?" I calmly sipped my coffee, watching him hold his head helplessly. He wasn't wrong. Before I was reborn, that's exactly how it was. Mia thought all my success and Jake's unwavering love were solely because of my looks. But she never knew how much effort went on behind the scenes. When I had the beauty system, I gave my all to every opportunity. My mom wanted me to quit school early, but I kept studying. I'd write detailed character analyses for every role and cram historical knowledge for related roles, helping the team spot any mistakes. Even after Jake got the beauty system, I shifted focus and became his best assistant. When he won the dual awards, someone tried to overshadow him and pushed him to the edge during a photo op. I noticed backstage and wheeled out a celebration cake I'd prepared. Amidst the cheers and laughter, Jake ended up on that day's headline, making the youngest dual award winner a household name. For me, the beauty system was just a bonus. Sure, it's great to have, but without it, I can still shine. The previous path was nice, but I want a better one this time around. "Excuse me," I interrupted his rambling. "Time's up, I need to head back to class." Jake quickly looked up, grabbing my sleeve. "No, Emily, I mean if you want we could still, no need." I stood, prying his fingers off one by one, then smiled out the window. "Save those words for Mia." Why? Why is it you again?" I walked out of the cafe, straight into Mia's crazed gaze. She'd heard everything Jake said earlier. This time I followed Mom. "I got the system too. Why is it still you?" Her eyes showed hatred as red as blood. I stopped for the first time since being reborn, properly looking at her. She'd changed so much since I came back. I remembered when we first parted. She was the favorite daughter, always in designer clothes, living in love, and looked down on me with disdain. But now, thanks to backlash and system recovery, she seemed older, fragile, filled with resentment. I sighed. "Mia, I never set out to compete with you. There are many roads to success. Life isn't just about wealth and fame. Before you were born, I looked forward to having a sister. I used to think that no matter what my sister did, she'd be the best at it. Even if she was selling sweet potatoes on the street, she'd be the sweet potato queen in my heart. But now she keeps challenging me over and over." She threw acid on my hand. "Even though the pain is long gone, the dark red scar is all too real. People should pay for their actions. Now the only thing I can give her is a subpoena." After the college entrance exam results came out, I got into Harvard. Tracy and my dad celebrated with me, and even my mom showed up. My parents are pretty practical folks. Between a daughter who's going to Harvard and could bring honor to the family and a daughter with a criminal record, they made a very clear choice. So putting Mia in jail was straightforward. But I didn't stop there. Once at Harvard, I chose to study biology. The knowledge from my rebirth gave me an edge in picking research directions. It helped me use the latest tech to benefit people more quickly. I also jumped on the live streaming sales trend and helped promote agricultural development. I wasn't blessed with perfect looks, but my deep understanding of my subjects helped me stand out among the superficial influencers. Parties feel different now. No one dares to mess with me because people respect those who genuinely contribute to society. And Thomas, he didn't end up in jail like last time. Now he's part of the national fencing team and won several gold medals at the Olympics. Reporters call him the chill conqueror of 14 states after his triumphs. He's not the brawler he used to be. He's now the rising star of the sports world. But when reporters asked him who he'd dedicate his gold medal to, he blushed for the first time. "This medal," he said, "I want to give to the person I love most." Amidst cheers and camera flashes, his gaze softened in a way only youth can. He said, "Emily, I adore you." There was a celebration everywhere, flashing lights on stage, and my phone ringing off the hook at home, with Tracy's excited voice carrying from the kitchen to the street. At this moment, the new chapter of my life was just starting. The end.